It's time to do it. It's time to do it. A not one, but two round 2025 rookie mock draft for you Dynasty Fantasy Football crazies out there. Yes, I'm diving into it, talking about some of the most exciting prospects that we have seen play here in this 2024 college football season. As I go through each pick, I'll be highlighting their strengths, their advanced metrics, their weaknesses, how their game can translate to the next level, and hopefully put you on game with a couple of cats that the consensus ain't talking about, but trust OGQ. These boys will be here when it's all said and done come April of 2025. This is all about setting up your dynasty rosters for the future. So I'm excited that you tapped in. If you stick around to the end of the video and you find the information actionable and or entertaining, do one thing for you boys: subscribe. I know a lot of y'all out there that check out the content are loyal and y'all are subscribed. I really appreciate that. But if you're part of the small percentage of folks that are watching and not subbed, make that change. Help a young independent content creator grow. 2025 Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft Superflex Edition. Not one, but two rounds. We finna get it right now. All right, let's pull up the tier maker and get this thing popping here at the 101 Superflex. I don't really care the format. Superflex, single quarterback. There's only one player that should be atop the board, and that is Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty coming off the board as the 101. He's been absolutely unstoppable for Boise this season. Over 190 carries, 1,500 yards, and 20 damn touchdowns. He's forced 83 missed tackles, and he's generated over 1,100 yards after contact. Power, balance, patience. You see it all with Jeanty, averaging over 8 yards a run and 20 runs of 10-plus yards. He's capable of making big plays, and he looks like a complete three-down back with serious workhorse potential at the next level. I know there's a lot of talk out there about him going round one of the NFL draft. This class is so deep at the running back position. I don't think any team has to take a cat in round one, but the two that we're about to talk about right off the rip, Ashton Jeanty, and my 102 right now, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, would be two that I think can push for first-round capital in the 25 NFL draft. Hampton has been phenomenal for North Carolina this season. He's had 213 carries for 1,178 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's known for his physicality. He's forced 52 missed tackles on the season and has almost 900 yards after contact. He's got ability to pick up tough yards, 5.5 yards per carry, and 17 breakaway runs. He's also very proficient in the receiving game. I believe that once we get through the draft process and we start to hear about teams and how they prioritize the positions, I wouldn't be shocked if some teams value Omarion Hampton and the player that we'll talk about here in a little bit, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, as the top running back in this class. Right now, from a dynasty perspective, I still have Jeanty as the clear-cut RB1 and the 101 in this class, but right on his heels, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. At the 103 spot, we're going to pivot, go to the wide receiver position. And I know it hasn't been the type of season that we wanted, but Ted McMillan is still leading the country in receiving yards, and he has been a monster. He's been a deep threat for Arizona, despite the fact that Noah Fifita is not playing good ball. 1,063 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, 3.13 yards per route run, and 397 yards after the catch, 14 yards per catch for his average depth of target. McMillan can stretch the field. He can play underneath. He's got the ability to make defenders miss after the catch. He is a bona fide stud at the wide receiver position. I believe he will be the true number one wide receiver off of the board that's only going to play one side of the ball. But I can see Travis Hunter, who should play both ways at the next level, getting picked ahead of Ted McMillan if we're talking NFL draft. But here, Dynasty rookie draft purposes, would pray and love for my Dallas Cowboys to draft McMillan. I do think he is the wide receiver one in the 103 in all formats. The aforementioned Travis Hunter is coming off the board at 104. Again, I think Hunter's going to end up playing both sides of the ball at the next level, offense and defense, but I do think he's just a slightly better wide receiver than he is defensive back. He's been awesome for Colorado this year, 60 receptions, 757 yards on the season, 2.61 yards per route run, 10.7 average depth of target for Travis Hunter at 204 yards after the catch. He's got crazy ball skills and ability to make defenders miss after the catch. Receiving grade of 85.3 and 3 touchdowns on the season. I believe he will not only be a big play offensive threat, but a red zone monster for whatever NFL team drafts him. Ball skills are some of the best that you've seen on either side of the ball. Playmaking ability, long arms. I think he's going to be a red zone problem. Travis Hunter, 104 in Dynasty rookie drafts. I did say this was super flex, and we still have yet to talk about a QB, but we're going to change that right now because the first quarterback off of the board, Shedeur Sanders, top 5 pick, super flex format. Sanders coming off the board as my QB1. Over 70% completion percentage on the season, 2,591 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And he's got an innate ability to extend plays, only a 3.6% turnover worthy play percentage, according to PFF, 8.1 yards per attempt. He is not a dual threat quarterback. He's got pocket mobility, but you would not consider Shedeur a dual threat quarterback. Somebody that'd be able to move around, extend some plays, would hope some of the off script stuff would tighten up at the next level, but he's got quick decision making, more than adequate arm strength, deep ball accuracy is on point, and he is tracking to be one of the top, if not the top quarterbacks off of the board. He is the quintessential point guard. He is going to get the ball to the offensive playmakers, and Sanders, you want him to be a facilitator early, and you hope they will continue to just grow. Accuracy is important. Sanders can throw over the middle of the field. He can hit those deep outs. Very good NFL draft prospect at quarterback. We'll see which situation he lands into. So those are the top 5. Ashton, Jeanty at 101, Omarion, Hampton 102, Tet McMillan 103, Travis Hunter 104, and Shedeur Sanders, the top 5 right there. And I notice you can't see Jeanty a little bit, so I'll move him down. There we go. Ashton, Jeanty, Hampton, McMillan, Sanders, and Travis Hunter inside of that top 5. Let's move on to the rest of round 1, pick 6 through 12. And at 6, we are going to stick with the quarterback position and go to a lot of people's QB1 in this class. Miami Heisman hopeful, Cam Ward. Cam Ward's been incredible this season for the Hurricane. Very efficient and productive passer, over 3,100 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and a very low 2.1% turnover-worthy play rate, according to PFF, 9.6 yards per attempt. Cam Ward's athleticism, you see the playmaking ability. Cam Ward has done nothing but improve his draft stock, probably more than anybody in this first round in this draft class. He's made it happen. The transfer rules worked out for him. I watch Cam Ward play, and he reminds me of a Geno Smith type player, and that would be dope. If you can get a high-volume passer who can be efficient and just absolutely lethal at times, I do think Cam Ward can make some plays a la Geno Smith at the next level. Cam Ward coming off the board at 106. 107, fast rising running back, and currently my RB3 in this class. We are going to go to Iowa and select Caleb Johnson, powerhouse running back with speed and athleticism, over 1,200 yards and 19 touchdowns on the season, 53 missed tackles forced, and 862 yards after contact. This is a big boy. You're talking about another 215-plus pound, 220-pound running back, and you see it every time you turn on the tape. Shedding defenders, 7.5 yards per carry, and 26 breakaway runs for Caleb Johnson. It's crazy because he's got this weird combination, this unique combination of size, speed, strength, and athleticism. He's an explosive back, and this is part of the reason why, if you're a fan of any of these players, this running back class is deep. You do not have to reach for an RB in round 1 of the NFL draft. Caleb Johnson coming off the board as the RB3 at 107. I would be ecstatic to get this running back. They are coming, folks. The 2025 running backs are going to take some jobs here in the NFL next year. 108, we're going to stick with the position because it is loaded. Quinshon Judkins out of The Ohio State. I know a lot of people look at the numbers, a little bit down this year, 615 yards, 6 touchdowns on only 94 carries. He's physical, 25 missed tackles forced, and 313 yards after contact, 6.5 yards per carry, 10 breakaway runs. I've seen Quinshon Judkins dominate in the SEC. He's doing it right now at Ohio State in an offense that features another top NFL draft prospect at running back, multiple NFL draft eligible wide receivers, and a potential quarterback vying to get picked as well. I love this. You're talking about a big physical running back that is not being run into the ground here in his draft eligible season. Quinshon Judkins, he might not be having the eye-popping numbers of Jeanty, Hampton, or Caleb Johnson, but make no mistake, the talent is still there. This young man is still a baller. Reminds me a lot. His game reminds me of K9. A lot of Kenneth Walker and Quinshon Judkins' game. So right here at the 108 spot, RB4, love it. Judkins is a stud. At RB5 in my 109 in this mock, somebody that a lot of people have not caught up to, but I'm telling you right now, this player's skill set is made for the NFL, and we are going to go to California. Woody Marks out of USC comes off the board at 109. Versatile running back, 877 rushing yards and 9 TDs on the ground with 29 missed tackles forced, 468 yards after contact. But Woody Marks, his best skill set and the thing that's actually going to help him even more at the next level is the incredible receiving production and profile that he has. On the season, Woody Marks has over 35 receptions and over 250 yards. This comes on the heels of having an 80-plus reception season at running back, a 60-plus reception season under his profile, and a 45 reception season under his profile. He's going to go over 1,000 rushing yards on the season, probably finish around 1,200 yards and close to another 50 receptions. You're talking about the dual threat Jahmyr Gibbs light running back in this class. Watch the tape, turn it on. Woody Marks, very, very reminiscent of a Jahmyr Gibbs light. Explosive, dynamic playmaker who can make it happen out of the backfield and between the tackles. This is going to be a player who becomes a fan favorite throughout the draft process. Mark my words, Woody Marks is the 109 in this mock. At 110, we are going to go back to the wide receiver position and a slept-on wide receiver and one that is just still very, very good. Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Just consistent, 577 yards, 7 touchdowns on 59 targets. It's a new-look Ohio State offense, 303 yards after the catch, 2.96 yards per route run. He's going to be a very, very good wide receiver, too, at the next level. I think he can win underneath. He can win over top. Reminds me of a power slot player. Think Juju Smith-Schuster when he was coming out of USC. Not the Juju today, but the Juju that was playing opposite Antonio Brown and was still an awesome wide receiver for us in fantasy football. I believe Emeka Egbuka has that sort of range of outlook in his future. Still one of the best wide receivers in this class, even though, maybe not that sexy of a name anymore. At 111, we're going to stay at wide receiver, and this one is ballin'. Trey Harris from Ole Miss. He didn't play last week, and we saw his running mate have a 5-touchdown day, but Trey Harris has been great this season, 987 yards, 6 touchdowns, 462 yards after the catch, 5.25 yards per route run, which is insane, 11.6 average depth of target. This is a big boy, 6'3", 215 pounds. All of these players just profile like legitimate guys that can go get it at the next level. Saw Kyle Krabs from the 33rd team actually mock Trey Harris to the Washington Commanders in round 1 in his most recent NFL mock last week. That's just a glimpse of how talented this young man is. Trey Harris coming off the board at 111. And at 112, the final player in this first round, you got running backs. You got a couple of quarterbacks out there, but we're going to stick with a fan favorite. Luther Burden III coming off the board here, wide receiver out of Missouri. 450 yards, 4 touchdowns on 56 targets this season. Been a little inconsistent at the QB play. 247 yards after the catch for Luther Burden, 2.2 yards per route run. He's an incredible athlete and a dynamic playmaker. My biggest issue with Luther Burden, why he's fallen for me and fallen for a lot of other scouts that I know in the community, the ability to work in NFL route tree. You cannot out-yak folks at the next level. We've been burned by those archetype of wide receivers in the past. You have to have a skill set that allows you to get some of those easy hog routes, the hitches, the outs, the goes. I think Burden has this within his skill set, but so far this season have not demonstrated that. I think there are a couple of other receivers that have jumped him. We'll see what the draft says. I think this is one of those names where a lot of people who've been playing in Devy leagues or have heard these names for a long time. It's hard to sort of separate what we want Burden to be from what actually is happening. But I just think that he has sort of taken a little bit of a step back, or maybe some of these other receivers have just really exceeded expectations and stepped it up. Still in the first round, but at the back of round 1 for me. So Luther Burden coming in at 112. Let's recap round 1. Ashton Jeanty off the board at 101, followed by Omarion Hampton, 102. Tet McMillan, 103. Travis Hunter, 104, and Shedeur Sanders in this Superflex mock comes off the board at 105. Cam Ward, 106. Caleb Johnson, the big running back out of Iowa, 107. Quinshon Judkins, 108. Woody Marks, 109. Emeka Egbuka, 110. Trey Harris, 111. And Luther Burden III, 112. Let's move to round 2, where we will go back to the quarterback position, but we will not take Carson Beck out of Georgia, who I do not even believe is going to declare. We are going to go to Ole Miss and take Jackson Dart here at the top of the second. Listen, he's playing great. When you look at his passing metrics and the efficiency numbers, 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 6 picks, 11.6 yards per attempt. High offensive grade according to PFF. He's got big playability. He's got the arm strength. He's mobile. I would not consider him a dual threat. Doesn't feel like a first-round pick at quarterback, but for a team that's looking for a quarterback of the future, think the Rams. If they take him in round 2, you pair him with Sean McVay, Dynasty gamers are going to be very interested in Jackson Dart. You put him in a situation where you can see a realistic pathway for him to grow and learn behind maybe a bridge quarterback. This might be a good spot for Jackson Dart. So coming off the board at top of round 2, I wouldn't mind it. And again, this running back class is deep, so there are going to be a lot of backs and a lot of tight ends later down the board. At 202, Travion Henderson comes off the board, running back from the Ohio State, the running mate to Quinshon Judkins, 567 yards and 7 TDs on the ground for Hendo, 21 missed tackles forced and 356 yards after contact. We know he's a breakaway runner. I mean, he is explosive, he is fast, he is good in the pass pro game, and he can catch the ball. If I'm sitting at the 202 spot and I'm getting Travion Henderson, who's probably going to be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft, I'm ecstatic. This is an awesome spot. Hendo's a really good player. This class is loaded at RB. At the 203 spot, going back to quarterback, Quinn Ewers comes off the board here at 203. I've got no idea, folks. It does not seem like a high-end quarterback in the NFL draft. I'm not even sure based on his play this season. 1385 passing, 18 touchdowns, deep ball accuracy, the ball placement, missed a couple of games. I'm not sure Quinn declares, but then I also don't think Texas really wants to have Arch Manning ride the bench again. I don't know how this situation is going to play out. Superflex, Quinn, Dart, they feel like second-round picks. And at the 204 spot, tight end 1 comes off the board, Tyler Warren. He's a freak. They line him up at quarterback, run the damn ball with him. He can line up in line. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. Penn State does it again. Freak athlete at the tight end position. And I think that there are going to be Dynasty gamers chasing this one. If you're in tight end premium leagues, Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin, Mason Taylor, the tight end class is loaded, but this guy is the top dog. Tyler Warren off of the board at 204. At 205, we stay with the Penn State Nittany Lions. Nicholas Singleton coming off of the board here at 205. 505 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. We know Singleton is big. He's explosive. 13 missed tackles forced, 282 yards after contact. Breakaway speed. Singleton's got it. You see him returning kicks for Penn State. Maybe not the elite running back that we thought coming out of high school, but he still seems like a damn good running back that's going to have a place at the next level. Nick Singleton coming off the board at 205. At 206, we continue the Penn State love affair with quarterback Drew Allar from Penn State. I'm seeing more and more mock drafts with Drew Allar in round 1 of the NFL draft. I personally still do not see it. Shown some promise at times, 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, good pocket presence. He's got all the physical tools. There's just something there that isn't quite clicking for me. But if Drew Allar is projected to get this type of capital, maybe a late first round pick, a high second, here in the middle of the second round of a rookie draft, I think that's where I'd be fine taking a shot on a player like Allar. All right, coming in at the 207 spot, one of the wide receivers, and he feels like a pro wideout. Xavier Restrepo from Miami, 856 yards, 9 touchdowns, 394 yards after the catch, 2.53 yards per route run, 71 targets for Restrepo, helping Cam Ward have the type of season that he's having. Slot monster, special teams ability. He feels like he might be this year's version of a player that people latch on to like Ladd McConkey. He's going to look damn good in the agility drills. The short area quickness and burst is there. Restrepo is a big-time riser coming in at the 207 spot. 208, let's go back to the running back position. Let's get us a dope running back, a player who is balling this season out at Tennessee. Dylan Sampson, 978 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5.7 a carry, 38 missed tackles, 566 yards after contact, for Dylan Sampson, and he's doing it in the SEC. He's got the size at 5'11", over 200 pounds. Really like this player. If you're getting him at the 208 spot here in your rookie drafts, you're feeling pretty good. At the 209 spot, we're going back to wide receiver. Texas's Isaiah Bond hasn't had the type of season that a lot of people were hoping for. 380 yards, 4 touchdowns, 33 targets, 199 yards after the catch, 11.2 average depth of target. Bond is fast. Its speed, its playmaking ability sort of reminds me in a way of Jalen Waddle from Alabama. Does he declare? Think he should. Even with limited production, he's got the talent, the profile transferring from Alabama. The receiving numbers aren't here, which causes him to fall down the board a little bit. Some wide receivers have really stepped it up this year. But this talent, playmaking ability, and when he ultimately tests, Bond's going to be one of the better wide receiver prospects in this class. There is Isaiah Bond coming off the board at 209. At the 210 spot, running back, Ollie Gordon II. What a fall for the once RB1 favored consensus. Not playing so well this season. 567 yards on 171 carries. I mean, Sampson's got that, and he's got 1,000 yards. Ashton Jeanty's got a couple of more, and he's got 1,500 yards. It's not been the type of season that we have wanted to see from Ollie Gordon. 21 missed tackles forced, so still pretty good in that department. He's a power back. He's an early down power back. We're hoping he turns into a player like Brian Robinson. Still a place for him in the NFL, but that elite type of ceiling that we thought could happen has not materialized at Oklahoma State. Doubt he's going to get the type of capital to have that significant a juice at the next level. But landing in the right spot, Ollie Gordon, don't get it twisted. Landing in the right spot, he can be an effective rusher for us in fantasy, but there are some more explosive options that I prefer to Ollie Gordon right now at this point. At the 211 spot, and it feels bad having Ty Felton this low because he is very, very good. 902 receiving yards, 2.87 yards per route run, almost 500 yards after the catch. You watch him play at Maryland, and you do get shades of former Maryland Terrapin that was very good there. They didn't get drafted as high as Ty Felton's probably going to go, and Stephon Diggs. Playmaking ability, yak, the speed, route running, and the hands are sticky. Ty Felton, one of the better wide receiver prospects that people are not talking about right now. And that rounds out this mock. We've got a lot of direction we can go. No Milroe, don't think he's coming out. Donovan Edwards has not had the season we wanted. Harold Fannin, Aronde Gadsden, DJ Giddens out of Kansas State. A lot of good players, but I think right here, LSU's Kyren Lacy gets the nod. 618 yards on the season for Lacy, 6 touchdowns on 74 targets. Lacy is an older prospect, but I don't really care. You watch him play, he's got that dog in him. LSU's done a great job over the past couple of years of developing these wide receivers. He's been around some of the best. Kyren Lacy right here at the 212 spot. I mean, this class is loaded. No Ricky White out of UNLV. No Evan Stewart. No Harold Fannin. No Jaquindon Jackson. Tez Johnson falling out. Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. This class is deep. So there goes round 2. Jackson Dart, Travion Henderson, Quinn Ewers, Tyler Warren, Nicholas Singleton, Drew Allar, followed by Xavier Restrepo, Dylan Sampson, Isaiah Bond, OG2, Ollie Gordon, Ty Felton, and Kyren Lacy. 24 picks to scratch that 2025 NFL rookie draft fever that you have. We got you covered over here at DD all damn season and off season long. So I appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear. If you enjoyed the video, found it actionable and or entertaining, whether you agree or disagree, hit that thumbs up button, like the content first and foremost, and subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football, NFL draft related content over here. Thank y'all for tapping in. Enjoy your evening. I'll see y'all bright and early every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. on the channel with Wake Up with Ray and Jay. Be easy. I'm out. Peace.